When I began reading the Bible as an adult, it surprised me how much of Jesus' message is about how to treat each other in this life and not a how to for getting into heaven in the next. Jesus does preach about heaven in numerous places, a life with God after this life is over. In John 14:2-3, "In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also." In Mathew 7:21, "Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven." While he talks about heaven, much of Jesus' preaching concerns economic fairness and mercy in this life, rooted in love. In Matthew 25, Jesus shares what's important to his Father in the parable of the sheep and goats. In this story, we find ourselves in the next life, where people are separated by a shepherd like sheep and goats. The king explains to a righteous man why he's ended up in the good place and with God. The king welcomes the righteous man, saying, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. A stranger, and you welcomed me. Naked, and you clothed me. Ill, and you cared for me. In prison, and you visited me." Then the righteous will answer him and say, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? When did we see you a stranger and welcome you, or naked and clothe you? When did we see you ill or in prison and visit you?" And the king will say to them in reply, "I say to you, whatever you did for one of the least brothers of mine, you did for me." What an astonishing insight into the priorities of the ruler of the universe. Doing for the least among us pleases our Creator. It illustrates why he is a king unlike any other this world has ever seen, and why this story continues to resonate so powerfully over 2,000 years. What other king is more concerned with the powerless than the powerful? Who in power advocates more for the weak and the poor than for the powerful and the affluent? According to Paul, being fruitful is central to a good life. He gives us this from Colossians 1. "For this reason, we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you, and to ask that you may be filled with the knowledge of his will in all wisdom and spiritual understanding, that you may walk worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing him, being fruitful in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of God." If this is muddy, or the concept of pleasing God and bearing fruit feels intimidating, the 19th century English preacher and theologian Charles Spurgeon, discussing this passage, puts a handle on how to let our little light shine. Spurgeon writes, "Do you have the ability to preach the gospel? Preach it. Does a little child need comforting? Comfort it. Can you stand up and vindicate a glorious truth before thousands? Do it. Does a poor saint need a bit of dinner from your table? Send it to her. Let works of obedience, testimony, zeal, charity, piety, and philanthropy be all found in your life. Do not select big things as your special line, but glorify the Lord in all the littles, fruitful in every good work." So, if you can write a song or sing one, teach a child or raise one, mentor a colleague, donate your time, call a friend or parent, write a check, offer encouragement, or just a much needed smile. You are breathing the love of Jesus back into the world and pleasing God. That's walking worthy. That's bearing fruit. And as for knowing God better, well, that's what we're doing together here. The song pairing is New Promised Land. Until next time, stay safe, be brave, and keep walking in the light.